Hi friends, it's Belinda here from BMakingJoy. Welcome to episode 53 of What Brings Me Joy, a mostly knitting podcast from my home here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am a knitwear designer, so I share some of my designs, and I also like to knit designs made by other people. So this is where we talk about all the projects I have on my needles and how much progress I've made on them since the last episode. In this episode, I have one finished object that I'm really excited to share about, and I have a few other projects lying around to show you the progress on. And I have an acquisition. I have the color of the month from Ancient Arts Yarns to show you. And yes, I've started something new. I'm recording this on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, and I want to say a big welcome to any and all of you, any new viewers, any returning viewers, everyone. I'm so glad that you spend some time with me. So there really isn't much to share in the life updates. There hasn't really been a whole lot of going on. I've been sick. I've been sneezing and coughing and sniffling for about a week. So I'm feeling better now, except for the occasional sniff and cough. So we haven't been very active. Dan and I did do a couple of walks in the parks, and there was an assembly this weekend for Jehovah's Witnesses. That's it for life updates. So I'm excited to show you my finished object. This is my Tracie Cardie that I designed in memory of my sister Tracie. The pattern is in the hands of the tech editor, and the application for test knitters is open, so I'll have the link to that application in the show notes down below. I'm looking for knitters of all skill levels. I've designed it so that you can use that one special skein of variegated yarn. That part knits up first, top down, and then you can choose your coordinating color. So if you don't know what that yarn is going to look like, you can knit that part up first and then look at what color pops and choose your coordinating color to finish the body and the sleeves. Pick up stitches for the button band and do the collar. And the yoke features upside down hearts because, as I said, it's in memory of my sister whom we lost a couple of years ago, and your hearts are turned upside down when you lose someone. And I've chosen a broken rib for the hem and the cuffs and the button band and the collar. There's some short rows in the collar for shaping. It's bracelet length. And there are no holes in the button band. I will probably just leave it open. But if I wanted to close it up, I could. Sorry, I'm distracted. My phone's ringing. I was saying if I wanted buttons, I would probably choose the kind that just slip through the fabric and connect to itself on the back side. The removable buttons. And I used a fingering weight yarn. This one is the sock needle base from Ancient Arts Yarns here in Calgary, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. This variegated was the color of the month from 2023, and I'm pairing it with the color Orchid, also on the sock needle. It's working to a gauge of 20 stitches and 28 rows, which for me was a 4mm needle. So check your gauge. This is, of course, after wet blocking, because most hand-dyed yarns have a superwash yarn in them. They will grow. They're okay for socks, but when you're using a bigger gauge like this, they will grow. So the math is based on gauge after blocking. I've graded the pattern for 9 sizes, ranging from a finished bust of 31 inches up to 64 inches. My intention is for you to choose the finished size that is 2 to 4 inches greater than your actual bust size. And yeah, in my opinion, that's the best ease for a lighter outer garment, a summer sweater. All the pattern is currently being tech edited, and looking for test knitters as well, because their feedback is very important to me. we work back and forth to ensure that the pattern is at its best before publishing. So I really appreciate any help I get in that. So the link to the test application is in the description box below. I'm looking for 2 or 3 testers of every size, and no specific skill level as long as you can knit. My goal is to have the pattern published in early July, but that's tentative, depending on how the test goes. And I'll probably be casting on another one for myself next week, because I am really enjoying it. I am going to give you a little swirl, but I'm going to put some pictures in here for you. Another finished object I'd like to show you is some dishcloths. This pattern is the Practical Little Heart pattern by Heidi Karameyer, which of course I'll link down below. It's a free pattern. And as soon as I finish one, I start another. I've been doing them on the treadmill, so I've got a collection here that I need to pop into my purse and give away. It's, of course, cotton yarn. This was from a big 1 pound skein of Bernat Handicrafter cotton. So I think I've already made like 7 or 8 of them in total. And there's still lots of yarn left on my ball. So that's an ongoing project that I won't share with you often. I just thought I'd show that I've got a collection piling up here. Now, a work in project that I've got some progress on is in my little purse project bag, tiny little drawstring bag. This was something the kids got like a couple of decades ago. An airline that doesn't exist anymore, Air Transat. I don't think they exist anymore. Don't hear about them in Canada anyway. Some trip years ago they gave them that bag. But it's perfect size for tucking into a purse for travel knitting. So pull it out and knit a few stitches at a time. Anyway, this is the Booble Socks pattern by Nancy Wheeler. Nancy Wheeler from Knit Sip Happy in New Brunswick. So it's cuffed down. And I showed you the previous finished sock. Do I still have it here? Yeah. I showed you the finished sock last episode, sock 1. Still needs its ends darned in though. So halfway through the cuff on sock 2. Pretty good progress for just being a purse project. I did work on it a couple of times at our walks in the park with my husband. He does a Pokemon walk, and I follow him, and he goes in circles. So after a couple of laps, I've had enough, and I sit down and knit. I think that's all there is to show you about that. The yarn is from Fiber Goddess here in Calgary. It's like 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. The colorway is called Whisper of Desire. And the contrast yarn is leftovers from my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. So this will continue to be my purse project for a while. And hopefully I will keep up with joining Dan on his walks. And maybe someday I will try knitting while walking outside. I'm doing pretty well at it on the treadmill, but I don't know if I can do it outside. I'm sure he walks too fast for me to be able to keep up with him if I'm knitting. But anyway. Another pair of socks that I've been working on now and again is my glow knee socks. A pattern that I released back at the end of April. Let me put it out here. So I had done the socks individually, the feet part individually during hockey games and whatnot, or as purse knitting. And then I've joined them together to work from the same skein of yarn, one from the inside, one from the outside. And yeah, it's starting to get a little messy, but it stays in the bag and rolls around, and that's fine. So these are knee socks. This colorway will work all the way up to the knees. This pair is again for my youngest daughter. And the feet are done in a Peyton's Croy. I don't know what the color number is, obviously red. And the legs, this is a sock NATO from Ancient Arts Yarns. It was a color of the month from March called Masquerade. And yeah, my pattern is designed to fully utilize all of this colorful skein and go all the way up above the knees, and then it'll be finished off with a cuff in this red color again. For my youngest daughter, who likes to wear knee socks with her shorts and skirts. So that's been living in my waterproof bag. It's been going outside when we sit outside in the sun. This might be a really short episode because I'm just flying through my notes here. And I have just one more project to show you. I've cast it on since the last episode. I showed you in the last episode that I had gathered the supplies to start the new project. And I began it as soon as I put that Tracie Cardie out to block. I started this project. I wanted to participate in the Knit Along by Knits and Pieces, who do a weekly live podcast called the Knit Chat Cafe. And I've linked to their channel in the show notes below because their episodes remain online after the live is finished. And the challenge is to use a mohair or a sequin yarn or some sort of quote-unquote condiment to pair with another yarn to make a marl in any project. And I really wanted to do the Wilfreda Sweater by Wrench Roll. And I had this really old mohair, 10 skeins of this, given to me by a friend. I'm looking for the label. So really old. The brand is Jessam, which doesn't exist anymore. The price tag has that W symbol for Woolco, an old Canadian department store that was gone before I was gone when I was a child. This yarn already has some acrylic mixed in with it, so I could have used it by itself, but I also have this that I thought went really nicely together with it. So I am holding those two yarns together, and I started the Wilfreda Sweater. And because I think this one alone would have been too itchy. And even with this one together, it softened it up a bit, but it still would be an outer garment because it's knitting up to a bulky weight. So because of that, I met gauge, but it's knitting up to a bulky weight. So because of that, I decided to work up a larger size so that there's room to wear it as an outer garment, because I wouldn't want this touching my skin. I mean, it did get softer with adding the Merit yarn. I didn't show you the label from this one. This is also an old yarn. It's not that label. This one. Ventex Merit, and look at the price tag on that, 99 cents. So I'm happy to be getting these two old yarns out of my stash. I'm happy with how beautiful the colors work together. And I was worried that that cable would be lost and too tight with the bulky weight yarn, but it did turn out nicely. If it didn't, I would have frogged it and done the sweater in plain. And now I'm at the point of splitting for the arms, and I tried it on, and I have a little video clip I can insert for you of me trying it on at this point. So it's ready to split for the sleeves. So I will split for the sleeves, do a few more rounds on the body, and then my work will probably slow down on this for a while because it is quite heavy and warm, and the fluffy mohair flying everywhere. I can really only work on it in the air conditioning. So I think that's all there is to share about that. Very nice design. Very easy knit. So let's talk about my WIP count update. I think I'm still at 9. Let's check. Find my list. So last episode I had 9 at the end of the episode. I finished the Tracie Cardie and I've started the Wilfreda. And every time I finish a dishcloth on the treadmill, I start another one. So it should still be at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I didn't write the Wilfreda down. That'll be 9. My list. Gotta write the Wilfreda in. The purpose of this podcast is to keep me on track, not let any of my WIPs go lost. So that's my WIP count update. My upcoming plans for the next couple of weeks. Like I said, the Wilfreda will split for the sleeves and it'll slow down. I intend to cast on another one of these. I haven't picked out the yarn yet, or I think I have. I just haven't pulled it out of the shelf yet. And putter away on those 2 socks. One for in the purse and one for outside knitting. Yeah. So let's go fetch the yarn of the month from Ancient Arts Yarns and I'll show you that. Okay, here it is. The May color of the month from Ancient Arts Yarns. The color is called Spring Frost. And it's on the sock NATO base, an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And as always, I will read the inspiration behind this colorway. So the theme for the year 2025 is creativity. Each month we feature a concept, a place, a book, a person, an event, an artist, or artwork, etc. that has made a real difference to our lives, inspiring us artistically and personally. We'll tell you the story of each inspiration and how it's reflected in the yarn. Our May color of the month is inspired by the capricious but oh so beautiful spring we experience in Calgary. Calgary has an interesting climate as it is positioned close to the Rocky Mountains, and we can experience snow and frost in any month of the year. It never lasts long when it falls from May to August, and it can create the most beautiful moments. May is a month when Calgarians start to plan their gardens, although we don't usually put our annuals out until the May long weekend. Because this month is more humid, when we do get frost, the patterns they can form on trees, shrubs, and yes, windows can be spectacular. And she's got some pictures in here that I will put up for you. The landscape is still in the process of greening up, and when one looks at the sandstone buildings in the city through a frosted window, the colors are still very beautiful. We've added a touch of green for spring growth in this colorway, and we hope it sets you up for a wonderful gardening season. And something I hadn't been sharing with you is that each month with the email, she also shows some color pairings of it with about 3 other colors. And I'm going to put those pictures in here too, because I'm going to start making a note for myself on a piece of paper and stick it inside here of what colors were recommended to pair with it, so that if this becomes a Tracie Cardie in the future, I've already planned out that I think I want to go with the dark blue. So the colors are Sea Foam, Spanish Lavender, and Meet Me at Midnight. That's the color of the month. That's it for my acquisition section. That's all I have to share this episode. So yes, a short episode. Thank you very much for watching. And if you've enjoyed my work, please click the like button so that more people can get to see this. And so I'll see you next time. So happy knitting, crocheting, beading, puzzling, painting, whatever it is that you like, go make some joy.